Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Japhet, for that wonderful introduction. I was so happy that I wasn't one of the weird guys. It's good to be with you. I just wanted to show you some pictures. Is it up on the screen? Yeah? It's right behind me. So here's the map of the world. And this is where I live. And it's it's quite far north. In the winters, in a month, we don't have sun. And in the summer, we have sun 24 hours. That's quite interesting. And it's located above the Arctic Circle. It's a spectacular place. And it's really good to be a pastoral couple up there. And what I really miss when I'm here, it's the mountains, you know. These are our daughters, Sarah and Nora. And this is a place where you can go and fish if you like fish. And you can get a fish there. And my nephew has found a crab. This is a picture of the midnight sun. This is how it is in the summer. And this is a picture of our church. And my church says, hello. Can I bring a greeting back? That would be really awesome. Thank you very much. Yes. So today, I'm speaking about the great controversy. And what it's really about, it's the great controversy, and it's supposed to be Jesus-centered, right? And we call this the great controversy on the lake. It was a dark and stormy evening, and my wife and I, we walked up to the check-in desk at the airport. Over the desk was a sign, Teddy Air. It's a true story. Teddy Air. Teddy Air with a cartoon-like picture of a teddy bear. And I know what the PR department was thinking of the now bankrupt airline company. They were thinking, if we only could find some sign, some name that would tell people that they are safe, that we are reliable. And then one guy in the PR department says, I know, we can call it Teddy Air. Teddy Air. It was so. Teddy Air, we make you cry for mama. While, oh, that's my that's my sentence. So while the winds and the whipping horizontal rain made us cringe as we walked to that small aeroplane, the smallest aeroplane I've seen in commercial business. We saw how the wings of the plane were trembling over there. And I thought, well, if it's already trembling down here, what will it be like up there? A stewardess with a voice like this. She said, welcome, and please have a seat. And the door was closed, the point of no return. The captain said, welcome to Teddy Air. This flight from Bergen to Skien, it might be a little bit wind tonight, as you can tell. And I just have to be honest with you, it will be quite a lot of turbulence. Okay, I was scared. We taxied out to the runway, and already on the taxi lane, the pilot had to make corrections all the time because of the wind. Aligned and ready to take off, The brakes were on, the throttle was on full, and this runway is a big runway. I've seen 747s land on it. Miles of runway. And I cannot tell you how many yards we rolled, but it's the shortest takeoff I've ever experienced in my life. Now, I would like to tell you that I was calm and composed during the ordeal that followed, but no. I was certain that I would die, and I had the extra bonus of sweaty palms syndrome. The plane moved in so many different ways up there that we weren't sure if we were going up or down. And I think we all knew we're going to die. As we got up into the sky, the stewardess unbuckled her seatbelt and, holding real tight on the seats in the aisle, she said, "We cannot serve coffee today." And then she turns towards my wife and myself, looking a bit scared. "This is the worst trip I have ever experienced." As that, in a way, would create a bond between us and make us feel comforted. And that's when you think, now, I really hope that that guy in the front has not only been doing this on the Microsoft Flight Simulator. I hope this guy has some experience with this. I hope he knows what he's doing, that I can trust him. And after an hour, on the most awful flight I've ever had, we landed on an airport. And I understand that denominational leader, I won't say his name, when he comes to a new country, he kisses the ground. And that's what I felt like. The boat slowly drifted from shore. Jesus wanted to go to the other side. The weather was fine, and Jesus was exhausted, and he went to sleep. Everything was okay, but then the winds picked up. And many people have tried to explain the winds there. They have said that the small Gennesaret Sea can have dangerous winds. But I believe that the story about the storm on the lake must be seen in context with the mission of Jesus. For on the other side of the lake was a human being that was being attacked by Satan and his demons. And that is Satan's greatest joy. He wants to attack what God loves. When Satan cannot destroy God, he must try to destroy what God loves. And the storm, my friend, was a diabolical one. And right now, the lake was the battleground in the story of the great controversy between Christ and Satan. We from northern Norway, we know something about the sea. It's a fisherman's area where I live, and for years fishing has kept this community alive. And we have heard stories, and many have experienced the dark, the waves, the certainty of death, the instinct to survive, the loneliness, And through the years, many sons and daughters have lost their fathers at sea. And as the disciples panicked, they start to fill cups and buckets with water, or maybe only with their hands, just so they can survive one more minute. Surrounded by chaos, they all work for their lives, except for one who is asleep. I believe he knew what was ahead of him, but still he slept. He was sleeping because he had no energy left in his body. He was exhausted because he had emptied himself for others. Jesus had given people attention and care all day long, and his humanity gave him limitations, while at the same time his divine character of love stretched him to exploit himself physically and mentally. He had so little time to reveal God's true character to mankind. And in 3.5 years, he worked so hard to accomplish what we have here today. You are sitting right here, listening to the story of Jesus. And as the diabolical storm was ravaging, a cry could be heard in the dark. Master, don't you care? Don't you care that we are perishing? Don't you care? Don't you care? Can't you see what's happening? Can't you see the chaos that we're in? Why are you not scooping water with your hands so we can stand a better chance? Well, people, he will do more than that. He arose. He rebuked the wind and said, "Peace, be still." And there was not only a calm. The Bible tells us that there was a great calm. And as the disciples are lying scattered and exhausted in the boat, they now look at each other, and then they look at him. And a new fear comes over them. Who is this? Who did we get into the boat? Who is this man? Everything is calm. And as Jesus stands there in the boat, they look at him and they look at God. They see something new. They see divinity flash through him. And they were afraid. They had been his mates, his friends. But now they see God and they're afraid. And they lie there, look at divinity, and they are afraid. Now let me say to you what the great controversy is all about. It's about who you think God is. It is a battle about his character. I had a sermon about the great controversy a few weeks ago in my own church. And before I came to the church, my friend, he was sitting on the porch, having his coffee in the sunny weather. And he's a good guy. And I was about to get into the car and drive to church. But first, we had a little talk. What are you preaching on today? And then I thought, how should I put the title? And then I said, I'm preaching about why Jesus had to die. Oh, I know that, he said. He had to die because of the political circumstances. I said, you haven't got a clue. And then I started walking into the car. And then he said, well, what? He's a good guy. And I said, it's got something to do with God's character. And he said, that's it. I'm coming to church today. And he came to church, and he said afterwards, wow, my mind was blown away. I mean, Satan was an angel, and there was a war in heaven, and the issue was the rulership and the character of God. Wow. And now a question that many have wondered about. Why couldn't God just have sapped Satan right there, way back, before all this evil? Why couldn't he just have sapped him when he was just starting to develop the thought of sin in his mind? Or at least before he started to tempt humanity? And here is one answer. I don't know if you find it fulfilling, but I think this answer is incredibly deep. And it's from Ellen White, Patriarchs and Prophets. She says here, since only the service of love can be acceptable to God, the allegiance of his creatures must rest upon a conviction of his justice and benevolence. Had he been immediately blotted out of existence, some would have served God from fear rather than love. Wow. This sets everything right, doesn't it? God does not want slaves. He wants a close relationship to us based on love. And you see it in the little boy who has just been struck in the face by his father. Don't you? You see it in his eyes. And that little boy, he will do anything for his father now. But something is broken. And you can see it in the eyes of the wife who has had to endure domination and abuse. And it happens everywhere. And that wife knows that she ought to run away, but she's too afraid, so she stays. And she's the perfect wife. She's a good wife. But something is broken. Heaven on the outside, hell on the inside. God does not want to break us. He wants to heal us with his love. And the only way he could heal us was to break himself. And you see him there, don't you? You see him there, down on his knees. There in the garden, on his knees, the master of the elements, the king, God, is broken. And after that, he is whipped. They spit on him, and half dead, he carried your brokenness so you could be whole. And now, my friend, see him rise. See him rise. Watch him take control over the elements. Watch him as he travels together with you. He's the pilot. He's your friend. He knows what he's doing. He has had this fight before. I want you to know that. Maybe you think you're the only one. He has had this fight before, and he can take it again. Your chaos, your mess, your situation, and the story of the great controversy is a story about here and now. About the devil who's trying to destroy and sink you, to deprive you the knowledge of God and the relationship with Him. But the story of the controversy is a story about here and now, about the God who is infinite in His love and His love for you, who broke Himself for you, and no matter what, He's in the boat with you.